What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to give you guys some Atlanta Falcons news. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content or NFL content. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. And if you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So today in Atlanta Falcons news, the Atlanta Falcons did host today defensive end Shemar Stewart from the University of Texas A&M. He was their first official pre-draft visit for our Atlanta Falcons. And Shemar Stewart goes about 6'5", 267 pounds. And he was one of those guys that killed it down at the combine. Ran a really good 40 at 4.5 40, had a 40-inch vertical over a 10-foot broad jump. So he's one of those guys that did really well at the combine. And he is one of those guys that's a workout warrior. And I was really impressed with his athleticism and things of that nature. But I do have some concerns about drafting Shemar Stewart if they were to take him at that number 15 pick. The only way that I see the Falcons drafting Shemar Stewart personally is if guys like James Pierce, Mike Green, if those guys go early in the draft, Jalen Walker, if those guys go ahead of us at that 15th pick, then I can see the Falcons possibly taking Shemar Stewart. But I do believe the Falcons are doing their due diligence. Now, Shemar Stewart, to me, the thing that concerns me is he didn't have a ton of production in college at Texas A&M. He only had 1.5 sacks in the 3 seasons that he was at Texas A&M, so a total of 4.5 sacks in his career. I'm not sure if that's due to the scheme that they ran or whether that was just due to Shemar Stewart being a raw talent. But when I look at his game and watch his film and things of that nature, I look for guys that have production, guys that did it on the college level as well as go to the combine and do really well. But personally, I look at their college tape over the combine numbers and things of that nature. And Shemar Stewart, to me, there's some concern that I would have in that regard. Now, the Falcons did bring in Nate Ollie as the defensive lines coach. And they stated that he's one of those guys that's like a pass rush specialist. So if the Falcons were to take Shemar Stewart, maybe they believe that Nate Ollie and this defensive coaching staff, along with Jeff Ulbrich, that they can develop him because of his athleticism and him being like a generational talent because of his athleticism and his size and things of that nature. Maybe they think they can mold him into the player that they want him to be. But personally, I would go with one of those guys that are more polished, like a James Pierce out of Tennessee, like a Mike Green, guys that can come in and have an immediate impact. Personally, I don't believe that Shemar Stewart will be able to come to the league for our Falcons and have an immediate impact as far as pass rush. And because the Falcons have really struggled and pass rush has been our Achilles heel, personally, I wouldn't go with a guy that's a raw talent. I would go with a guy that's kind of more developed. Of course, all of these guys are going to get better and better as they enter the league and things of that nature, and they'll improve as they play in the NFL. But to me, Shemar Stewart is the most raw talent that I've seen just on film. He is a guy that's an explosive athlete. He is a guy that plays with a high motor, a very physical player in the trenches. But I think the best part of his game right now, if any team were to draft him, would be his ability to stop the run. So I think he will be a great edge setter. If the Falcons were to draft him, I think he'll be really good at setting the edge in the run game. He'll be really good at pushing the pocket, but I don't think that he will have a lot of sacks in the league. And I don't believe that he'll have a lot of quarterback hits and quarterback hurries and things of that nature. I think that he'll be able to get pressure at times, but I don't know if he'll be able to get the quarterback on the ground. And technically, that's what it's all about, is being able to get the quarterback on the ground. I really feel like the Falcons over the last couple of years, we've been able to get pressures. We just haven't been able to get the sack numbers and the sack total. So personally, I don't have anything against Shemar Stewart. I'm just nervous about his actual numbers and his production on the college level. The only other player that I remember coming out of college recently or even in the last 10 years that didn't have great college numbers is the defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. When I went and looked at Chris Jones, if you go take a look at his college stats, he was another guy that only had like 1.5 sacks every single year, and then turned out to be a really good pass rusher for the Kansas City Chiefs and possibly a future Hall of Fame player. But outside of that, usually players that don't have that production on the college level or the collegiate ranks, usually they struggle when they come into the league as far as putting up big numbers, as far as sack totals and things of that nature. So not saying that the kid, Shemar Stewart, that kid won't be a good NFL player, but I'm just reluctant to take him over a guy that's proven it. So it's a number of guys in this draft, as far as edge rushers or pass rushers that I've seen, that have the numbers and have the pass rush moves. One of the guys that I've been looking at, and I did a video on him as well, is Nick Scorton. That's currently was on that Texas A&M team with Shemar Stewart. He's a guy that played at Purdue early in his career, and he's a guy too that put up really good sack numbers. He had a really good production, and to me, he's more a more polished player than a Shemar Stewart. But with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts on Shemar Stewart. Do you believe the Falcons should select Shemar Stewart in this upcoming draft at that number 15 pick? As I mentioned, if they decide to take him, maybe they're going to look at his upside and his ceiling and think that he has a high ceiling and they can go in and develop him into the player that they want him to be due to his size and athleticism. But I have a lot more content coming for you guys. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.